If you are looking forward to more Moon Knight in the MCU, looks like you're gonna have to wait a while more. But that doesn't mean that the world of Moon Knight will continue to just exist on its own, as reportedly the Scarlet Scarab will be showing up in projects before Moon Knight ever returns to bridge the two properties. So obviously Moon Knight takes place in the MCU, but if you watch it as a standalone thing, it really does work on its own. There's not a whole lot of crossover references or anything like that. So what we learned recently is that the actress playing Scarlet Scarab is getting more work in Hollywood, and along with a bunch of commitments, it looks like she's gonna be returning to the MCU sometime in the near future because of specific dates that are sort of like carved out and what her agency is saying, and more or less what we can expect. And allegedly, she's gonna be making her way to crossover with some characters when it fits the story that they're telling here, and this will be a way to kind of establish, hey, look at me, I know who Moon Knight is, there's this guy I know, maybe I can get him to join you guys in whatever this big upcoming threat is, so I'll deal with that, but hey, let me introduce myself first in all this. So it looks like they're gonna do the old approach that they've done a couple times recently already, which does work, where you take a character from another property, bring them over here, they kind of establish something, and then you send them off into another project. I mean, we saw Yelena do this from Black Widow over into Hawkeye and now into Thunderbolts and other projects, so it's a good way to approach it, and I think this is the best way to do it, because if they were to just take Moon Knight and drop him into whatever project's coming out, let's say like Daredevil Born Again, right? It doesn't make sense. Like, what happened with his story? Are we just abandoning that? Are we not picking up right from the end of it? A lot of people are going to have questions. You bring Layla over, aka the Scarlet Scarab, she can fill in the dots, right? She can kind of tease what's happening over there, but also bridge these worlds and then interact with Matt Murdock or whoever, and then she leaves, and then we inevitably start setting up a bigger crossover for when it's his time. So I do think that this is one of those things that is a smart way to implement the MCU growing without necessarily just shoving it into people's faces and taking Moon Knight away from his ongoing story, which isn't complete. So this, in my opinion, is a great way to kind of do that without having to worry about suddenly revealing too much or making it seem like, hey, did Moon Knight just forget that there's a third entity that's a criminal, like, within him now? Are we just going to ignore that, right? Like, no, they're going to find a way around it.